All right, if I could have your attention, please. We will call the City Council Committee of the Whole of March 24th, 2025 to order. If the clerk will help me with a roll call, please.
Albertini,
Here.
Brereton,
Here.
Fleury, Fleury absent, Frank, Freeman, Freeman absent, Gramkowski,
Here.
McGee,
Here.
Mulhall, Mulhall absent, Peterson,
Here.
Stevens.
Here.
7 present.
Right, thank you. We don't have anybody registered for public comment. We'll move to public forum. Tonight, we have the Alliance Against Intoxicated Motorists recipients for the 2023 awards. Chief Woody. Good evening.
Evening, Mayor. First, I'd just like to thank the Mayor, City Council for allowing us a few minutes tonight. I would like to call up Kelly and Art Krenzer from AIM, the Alliance Against Intoxicated Motorists. They historically have presented these awards to multiple officers who are nominated by AIM for their DUI enforcement throughout 2024. And I will go ahead, turn it over to Kelly to share her experiences as well as present the awards.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor and council members and officers that are here today, my husband and I are always honored to be here and address everybody. Our son Christopher was killed in Rockford about 14 years ago by an impaired driver. This driver was drunk and had marijuana in his system. He was a 20-year-old repeat offender, and one of the things that he bragged about when he was stopped, when he hit Chris actually and killed him, was that this was not going to be pinned on him, that he was going to get a slap on the wrist for taking the life of our 20-year-old son. He hit Chris at 104 miles an hour. Chris did not have a chance. He was alive for a very brief moment, for a very brief time. He's buried right down the street from where we stand today. He's in the Belvedere Cemetery. Never did I think that this would be my calling to work for the Alliance Against Intoxicated Motorists. I'm now since retired. And it's always an honor to come here and speak to the officers and present these awards in front of the family and in front of our community, because it's important. It's important what these officers do. They don't get the thank yous for pulling these people off the roads. They don't get the recognition that they are saving lives by taking these people off of our roads and putting them in jail and prosecuting them. I don't want to be long-winded tonight. I can honestly say that over the years it has truly been our honor to present these awards and to know that they make our roads a little bit safer. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first recipient, Officer Anthony Jones, who had 18 DUI arrests. Thank you very much. Our second award recipient, and I have to say, Daniel, you always have a place in our heart, because one year you had just started out being an officer, and I remember thinking how young you were and wanting to inspire you to get these people off the roads. And it's always a pleasure when I stand up here and hand you the certificate. It truly is. Daniel had 20 DUI arrests last year. And Officer Korn, also another pleasure. Thank you so much. Chief, I'll turn it back over to you.
I can't tell you how much the Belvedere Police Department and the city of Belvedere appreciates you getting up here year after year, telling your story. I don't think any of us can imagine how difficult that has to be. I know there's a process that you guys have gone through over the years to deal with this loss. But thank you very much, because I think it's important that we all hear what is at stake if these officers aren't out there conducting this enforcement literally every day. So thank you for that. God bless. And, you know, to leave you on the note, and I know it's hard to believe that Officer Danielak is old enough to drink, let alone enforce DUI. Barely. So again, thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Krenzer, I know it's difficult, and the chief had touched on that a little bit, how difficult it is. But it is a great cause. Certainly that could be any one of our loved ones, and unfortunately it happened to be your son. But you, by coming here over and over, you know, and you've been here many times, I think it speaks to how you really do appreciate public safety, and you certainly have lived it, and you certainly have done your part. So very grateful, and thank you so much again for coming here.
Thank you very much.
Mhm. All right, turning the page, public safety, unfinished business, we have none. Item 2, public safety, new business. Item A, police department update. Chief Woody, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you. So I'll just provide you a personnel update for the police department. We currently have 8 police officer positions to fill. We have, in addition to that, 3 officers currently on leave. So far in 2025, the police department has proctored 13 written tests for police officer. We have 1 applicant in the background stage, 2 applicants who are scheduled this Wednesday to have their polygraphs reviewed and interviewed by the Fire and Police Commission. We have 1 applicant who is scheduled for his polygraph, and we have a swearing in this Friday at 11 a.m. here in council chambers for an entry-level position. One of our applicants is already a certified police officer, and if he passes all part of the hiring process, he'll go right into FTO. The 2 remaining applicants would have to attend the 16-week basic academy if they pass the hiring process. We're on multiple waiting lists for the basic academy in May and September for 2025. That'd conclude my report for this evening, and I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, if there's any questions for Chief Woody, now would be the time to ask. If anybody has anything. I did want to note that we have one of our police and fire commissioners, Carlos Villarreal, here in the audience. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you again, Carlos. Always good to see you. Yep. There's no questions regarding that. Item B, we have in your packet is a memo dated March 24th of 2025 from Chief Woody to the council and myself regarding firearm equipment sale and purchase. Chief?
Thank you again, Mayor. So if you turn to the memo in your packet, over the last several years, there's been a transition within the law enforcement profession from the .45 caliber handgun round to a more common and less expensive 9mm handgun round. I've asked my master firearms instructors to field test the 9mm round against our current .45 caliber and determine if transitioning to the 9mm would be a benefit. They made the following recommendations, which I had also submitted in your packet for review. Sergeant Deary's recommendation would be to transition from our current Glock 45 caliber handguns to the Glock 9mm handguns for reasons outlined in that attached documentation. Keesler's Police Supply has agreed to purchase the Glock .45 caliber handguns, flashlights, and holsters for $2,584, as outlined in the attached quote. The police department would then agree to purchase from Keesler's new Glock millimeter handguns, the Holosun red dot sights, weapon-mounted flashlights, and holsters for $6,310.16, as also outlined in the attached quote. Based on the ammunition cost savings, which is roughly $4,200 a year, improved accuracy, higher magazine capacity, weight differential being the 9mm handguns about 1 3/4 times lighter, more compatible sizing and quicker target acquisition, I would recommend selling our current equipment bundle above and purchasing the equipment in the quote provided by Keesler Police Supply. I would also request a waiver of the 2-week layover requirement to allow the expenditure to come from the police department's FY25 budget. I would request motion 1 to authorize the trade-in of 8 Glock 45 caliber handguns, flashlights, and holsters to Keesler Supply, Police Supply for $2,584 and purchase 8 Glock 9mm handguns, Holosun red dot sights, flashlights, and holsters from Keesler Police Supply for $6,310.16 to be paid for from the Belvedere Police Department equipment line item. Now, I would imagine you noticed, as I did, the amounts in the body is different from the motion, and let me double check based off the quote to make sure I have the right quote. So I would be requesting that we sell them for $2,584 and not the $2,688 that's in the motion.
Okay, if I could have a motion to that effect, please.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman Peterson. Thank you very much. Any comments, any questions regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. Alderman Peterson?
Did the red dot sites get some testing by your instructors, Steve? The particular ones that you guys want to get, do they work in the various lighting situations that you guys would expect?
Yep, in addition to the handguns, they also tested a couple of different red dot sights and ultimately came with the one that Sergeant Deary was recommending as the one that they preferred.
Chief?
If I may, so there was a conversation that was had that was brought to my attention, and I'm glad it was, to look at some potential local dealers or gun shops to see if there's additional bids that maybe could benefit some dealerships or gun shops here locally. I don't have those prices available with me tonight. But I have done some research, and based off of that research, there are 6 Glock dealers in our region, all of which I've emailed for bids based off the same criteria that we submitted to Keesler's, as well as made contact with Rob from RSM Gun Shop. And he as well, even though he's not a Glock dealer, he can work with some law enforcement distributors to get pricing to see if it's something that would be comparable with Keesler's. I should be able to have that information for you at the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Alderman Peterson?
Mayor, would we be able to make the motion that the chief wants and stipulate that when we vote on this then at the council meeting next Monday night, we would waive the requirement on the 2-week layover, and we approve the amount and let it be determined yet. But in principle, I think what the chief's looking for is, can we waive the 2-week layover and get this in the budget year? Can we budget this kind of money? And that sounds certainly feasible to me, and I just wondered, do we need to marry it to a specific vendor, or can we authorize it and let the chief fill in what we can come up with?
I think if we would, we know what the prices that we have on it. If there's anything other than these prices that come up and it's less and we're local, we can certainly amend that then. Can we?
It's gonna come back in ordinance form.
will?
And I have to draft the ordinance before, because it wants to waive the 2-week layover. It's not gonna say who we're selling it to, it's gonna say
The amount.
the trade-in amount as well as the, who we're purchasing it from. But I'd suggest just do it the way it's presented, and you can always amend it a second reading at that point,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
That just keeps it cleaner.
Yep. So essentially, we have the motion on the floor, and we'll see what happens. I would agree with Chief Woody and Alderman Peterson. I think anytime we can buy local, that includes vehicles, it includes firearms in this case. I think we want to, we have people that have invested in Belvedere, and, you know, if we get a chance to invest in them, I think that's wise. So, Alderman Stevens?
Because our next meeting's in 2 weeks, isn't it? Because next week's the 5th Monday, so
Correct.
it'd be 2 weeks away, so
Yes.
it'd be good to do this.
So I got a little bit sidetracked here. We had a motion, we did have a second too, right? Correct? Okay. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any other discussion? Feel free to speak up.
And as you recall, when it comes back to you, it'll be 2 separate motions on the council agenda. First, the motion to waive, then the motion to approve.
Okay. All righty, if there are no other questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And if there's anybody opposed? Okay, motion passed. Thank you. Chief?
Motion number 2, I would request authorization to waive the 2-week layover requirement as provided by section 2-87 subsection G of the city's code.
All righty, if I could get a motion to that effect. Motion
I'll
by
make that
Alderwoman
motion.
Graham-Kowski, thank you. Second by Alderman Stevens, thank you both. Any questions, any comments on the motion on the floor? Feel free to ask. Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And if there's anyone opposed? All right, motion passed, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. Item C, Fire Department update. Chief Shadle, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, thank you. In the last 30 days, the fire department responded to 273 calls for service. We had 4 building fires. Those were all aid fires, like not in Belvedere, mutual aid and auto aid. We had 2 car fires and 202 EMS calls. Of those 202 EMS calls, we transported 163 patients. We had 4 motor vehicle accidents with injuries, 4 gas leaks, and 5 carbon monoxide incidents. And again, when we say if we don't find carbon monoxide, we code it to something different. So those are 5 calls that we responded to where there was carbon monoxide in the home. So I want to just make sure your detectors are working. We had 15 public assist and various other calls. The breakdown for the hospitals, we transported most of our patients to St. Anthony's, 71, the second most to UW Belvedere, 55, and then Swedish American Rockford was 20, and Mercy was 17. A billing update, ambulance revenue update. Month to date, we've received $102,606. That puts our year-to-date total, and this is the fiscal year, at $1,329,996. And that is the year-to-date number of transports is 1,481. So just some updates to finish up. As you guys know, Chris Gilman is retiring on May 15th. And so we have been looking for an administrative assistant, and the response from the community has been great. We had 17 resumes turned in. From those, I selected 8 to interview. We've completed 5 of those interviews, and 3 more to go. And all the candidates have been great. So it's been really good. And then the last thing I'd mention to you guys this month is 2%, the Foreign Fire Tax Board paid to have our upstairs hardwood floor. Now our firehouse at Station 1 is really two buildings that combined. One was built in the late 1800s, the other one was built in the early 1900s. The only reason I'm saying that is the one side was refinished prior to the other side, and so the one that needed to be done, 2% funded that. The work is complete. We just have one more little section of flooring to complete, and then that will be done. But that was a nice use of those funds to keep our station beautiful. So I have no other updates, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, if there's any questions for Chief Shadle, now would be the time to ask. Feel free. Alderman Peterson?
Just one question, Chief. How much of the 2% did it take to do that reflooring? And you recall off the top of your head?
I do not recall off the top of my head. I mean, I could give a guess, and it might be close, but it might not be. So I could check and find out, though, and get that to you.
Yeah, it's just out of curiosity. Were the troops doing it themselves, or did you guys hire somebody?
Oh, no, we hired 2%. When they do a project like that, they take care of hiring. And the company that came in, I cannot think of their name off the top of my head. But it was not the guys. It was professionally done. And I believe, I'll double check, but I believe it was right around $8,000.
That's a great use for that. Very, very good. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Chief Shadle? All right. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Item D, Second Amendment to the EMS Staffing and Ambulance Vehicles Agreement. In your packet was a memo from Chief Shadle dated March 24th of this year regarding Second Amendment to EMS Staffing and Ambulance Vehicles Agreement. Chief?
Thank you, sir. So this is the agreement with Metro Paramedic Services, who provides our ambulance division for us, ambulances, EMS equipment, and staff, our 12. And each year, it's a 5-year agreement that we have with them. Each year, we have to figure out what the price increase, the cost of living increase. The nice thing about that is within the 5-year agreement that is capped at 3%. So the only way it would ever be, that's why there's an asterisk on your memo. The only way it would be above 3% is if there was some type of outside, perhaps like a law change that made things a lot more expensive to operate, things like that. So unusual circumstances, major unusual circumstances. So this is the third time that we've done this, and it reflects a 3% increase.
Okay. Chief, you want the recommended motion then to authorize the mayor?
Yes, please. The recommended motion to authorize the mayor to execute the Second Amendment to the EMS Staffing and Ambulance Vehicles Agreement with Metro Paramedic Services, Inc.
Okay. Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman Peterson. And is there any questions, any comments regarding what the motion that's on the floor? Feel free to ask. All righty, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? All right, motion passed.
Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for that, but I did see the flooring for 2% was a cost not to exceed $6,000.
Still very nice, so, yeah, very good. Can't wait to go check it out.
Has that ever, Chief, or maybe one of the former firemen that are on the council would know, has that ever been resurfaced, refinished? Do you know? Yeah?
The newer part where the pool table is was refinished a few years ago.
Okay.
And I think the older part where the chief's office and that, they just tore all the flooring off of it and left it. Because there used to be carpeting and stuff on the pool table side that was, and when they pulled it up, they found some beautiful flooring.
Okay.
So, very, very close. On the pool table side, it was, you were still there, I think, when that part of it, everything got refinished that, but it was quite some time ago. It was 10-plus years, I believe. And then the one spot that didn't get done was the bedroom of that side. And then so 2% initially, because the bedroom really needed to be done, and so they were going to do that. And then the recommendation from the 2%, because it's a committee of 7, was that to refinish that area, and then the rest of the floor is just what they call a top scuff, where they scuff up the top coat of the finish, not the clear coat, and then redo the clear coat. And so they redid the whole clear coat of everything, but the bedroom did get sanded down to the bare wood. And then the other side, when they remodeled that side where he was referring to the chief office side, they did find beautiful hardwood flooring, just like he said, and that was refinished at that time. And that was probably, well, about 4 years ago.
Okay. Thank you, both. All right, moving on, item E, Corpus Christi Procession Parade request in your packet from St. James Church, Catholic Church, is a request for a parade procession. The event is on Sunday, June 22nd of 2025, and the hours will start and end from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I think it's self-explanatory. We have done this before. If I could have a motion to that effect, please. Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman McGee. Thank you both. Any questions regarding the motion on the floor? Okay. Alderman Peterson?
Just on the barriers, Mayor, is that gonna be necessary, or is just the police escort?
Chief, you have to refresh my memory. I don't think we put barriers out, but maybe I'm wrong. Is that right, or Brent, Mr. Anderson?
For that one, we placed the barricades out on the terraces, and then they set them up and take them down for the event.
Okay. Okay, there's your answer. Yep. Thank you, Brent. All right, if there's any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor, please say aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? Motion passed, thank you. We have item F. In your packet, again, is a request for a block party, which they have done before. It's to be held Sunday, May 25th of 2025, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. 8 p.m., thank you. 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. There is the request form in your packet. This has been an annual event. If I could have a motion for that to get it on the floor. Motion by Alderwoman Graham-Kowski, second by Alderman Stevens. Thank you both. Is there any questions, any comments regarding the motion on the floor? Now be the time to ask. I think it is pretty boilerplate. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed, motion passed, thank you. Item 3, Finance and Personnel, thank you, Chiefs. Finance and Personnel unfinished business, there is none. Item 4, Finance and Personnel new business. Item A, Finance Department update. Director Turnipseed, good evening.
Good evening. Just a quick update tonight. The end of our fiscal year is approaching quickly. I've already met with our auditors to schedule and begin the preliminary work for our fiscal year 25 audit. Also note, at our next City Council meeting on April 7th, we will have a public hearing and a second reading for our fiscal year 26 budget. And that concludes my update.
All right, any questions about that short list? Feel free to ask Ms. Turnipseed. All right, thank you, Sarah. Item 5, unfinished business, we have none under other. Item 6, other new business. Item A, there's an ordinance for well number 11 IEPA Loan Phase 2. In your packets is an ordinance in ordinance form authorizing the city of Belvedere, Boone County, Illinois, to borrow funds from the Illinois Public Water Supply Loan Program. Director Anderson?
Thank you, Your Honor. As you may recall, we received loan approval for the new well 11, and then when we had a request from the Illinois EPA to break it into 2 phases, the first phase being the drilling of the well, which has been completed, and that was paid for with IEPA emerging contaminant funds, around about 1.4, almost $1.5 million. We have another $5 million of emerging contaminant funds in the state's current fiscal year that we will be applying to the construction of the facility. You'll notice in this ordinance, the dollar amount is $11 million. And our thought process is that our ground storage reservoir at well number 3, although still usable, is not in its ideal location with well 3 being offline and going to be capped. We've had provisions for the ground storage reservoir at the new well 11 location, and the cost for that reservoir, 400,000 gallons, along with the booster pumps, makes up that difference between the $5 million that's earmarked for the facility currently and the $11 million total that we put in the ordinance. Our hope is it's about a 24-month to 30-month construction time for the facility, and with that, we're hoping to hopefully get some more emergent contaminant funds to fund all or a portion of the ground storage reservoir. We don't know for sure if that's going to happen or not, so we will set up in our bid documents as an alternate for the reservoir and the booster pumps. So if the funding does not become available to us within that time frame, then we can always do that at a later date or make that decision. So our initial application, therefore, is for the $11 million, and I would recommend that this ordinance be placed forwarded to the council for action.
All righty. Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderwoman Graham-Kowski. Thank you both. Any questions, any comments? That is a good plan, Brent. I hope that there is some additional money that's available as we try to make up a $6 million shortfall, and I do believe there will be federal funds, so yeah, good plan. Alderman Peterson?
Just out of curiosity, Brent, what was the capacity for the ground storage at well 3 again?
It's about 400,000 gallons, so
Okay.
we'd be replacing it in kind, and that's our approach with the IEPA, that because of the PFAS contamination, it basically makes that existing facility at 3 kind of obsolete. We can still use it if we have to, but it would be a lot better off at the new well.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
And Brent, just for the record, wells 3 and 4 are out of service, correct?
They are offline, that's correct.
Offline, okay. All righty, thank you. All right, any other questions regarding the motion on the floor? Feel free. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed, motion passed. And then we have item B to follow, resolution for well number 11, IEPA loan phase 2. That would be a resolution authorizing the city representative to sign the loan documents that would be forthcoming. Director Anderson, did we get that?
So this is a mirror of what we did with the original loan application for well 11. Section 8 of the ordinance that we just referred to council allows for authorization of other personnel besides the mayor to sign the documents. So in this case, we would use the finance director as well. So I would recommend that this resolution go to council for review and approval.
Okay. Motion by Alderman Stevens, second by Alderman Peterson. Thank you both. Any questions regarding that motion on the resolution as stated? Feel free to ask. All right. Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And if there's any opposed? All right. Motion passed. That is all we have on the agenda. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? Motion by Alderman McGee, thank you. Second by Alderman Peterson, thank you both. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody want to stay? All right, for the record, we adjourned at 6:36 PM. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.